So, Rob, then what's required? Looking at the performance in the bronze playoff, there were moments, I suppose, in the first half where the Springboks really threw the ball around. Even the commentators were saying, "Where have these Springboks been?"
Yeah.
So they had the potential to sort of break out of that conservative mold, which has been under such criticism, this sort of Heineken Meyer brand of rugby. But now, obviously, talk of him having his contract extended, having political support of the ANC, that he has in fact transformed the side, and yeah.
It's a tricky one because I've over certainly the first 3 years of his tenure, I thought Heineken Meyer was doing a really good job. I thought that the Boks were making advances in their playing style. Even against New Zealand, we went toe-to-toe with them in some very pleasing test matches. Test matches that had the rest of the world, really sort of shouting from the rooftops about how both teams, frankly, had produced rugby of a quite sublime sort of nature. Unfortunately, our almost sort of innate conservatism just came back to root again. That sort of circling of the wagons sort of did happen again in the last probably 2 or 3 matches at the World Cup. I thought even in some of the group games, Samoa, Scotland, South Africa played some smart and some vibrant rugby at stages in both those games as they sort of rebuilt their pool phase after that disastrous start. Heineke does have that capacity to sort of bring adventure into his side. But I mean, for the last 3 games of the tournament, it was painfully obvious that we did not want to take the ball beyond first centre. We would, if the outside backs were going to come into the game, it was only going to be through sort of opportunism or broken play situations and so on. That from structured play, we just did not back ourselves. We've gone back into a situation where we just think that the blunt instrument way is the way to sort of win major honours. And frankly, records don't show that is the way you can do it anymore. You've got to have a more sort of all-round game. The noises he's made in the last couple of days have been more worrying even than any solution. He's sort of striking a note of defiance and sort of how dare you question my methods, etc. It's almost as if he sort of believes that he's sitting on some sort of some platform that just you can't sort of chop it up, and that he is there. He's in it for the long haul. He believes he's got the support of government, of SARU, etc., etc. That can be a short-lived phenomenon. I still think that in PR terms, he's on shaky ground at the moment. I don't think that when he gets back to South Africa for the summer, he's going to find himself sort of necessarily Mr. Popularity when he sort of walks around the shopping malls.
So of course that needs to be confirmed by the SARU General Council. Who's got the sort of biggest clout there? I mean, who would be his biggest detractors in him not having his contract extended?
Well, there is talk that some people on the SARU executive are irate about the fact that the cart went before the horse in terms of this so-called contract extension. There's rumours that he either has or hasn't signed on the dotted line. In other words, that there's sort of provisional approval for him to have a 4-year extension. And the pen hasn't been put to paper yet, but also some sources are saying that pen has been put to paper and that it's almost too late for any reversal. And so you've got some personalities, quite high up at the boardroom level who are quite indignant and believe that they've been bypassed in the whole process. So I think that General Council meeting in December, when it's supposed to take place, and where we will get the final sort of nod on his future, which does look. It certainly looks, at the very least, sort of a 60-40 situation in his favour now. Not that much talk in the corridors of power about alternatives, about who might be out there. All you're seeing is that in the media. But there are clearly a few sort of nose out of joint people at SARU. So that's also going to be an interesting one, whether that causes any conflict or division within the national body for the sort of, over the sort of off-season when things are supposed to be all sort of quiet and harmonious. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks. Rugby's never going to disappear completely out of the limelight, even as we switch to sort of more pleasant matters for a while, like sitting in the sunshine to cricket and a bit of rugby sevens and so on. But there, in the corridors of power, I think there could be a few ructions in the next few weeks.
Okay, let's wait and see. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Nick.